So you need to record something for a loved one, but you don't have access to a video camera or a DSLR. Most people have a smartphone in their pocket, but it's not as simple as just pulling it out and recording. You have to keep some things in mind. So some of those things are being familiar with your smartphone and some of its features and how to definitely enhance them. But then also taking advantage of your environment and doing the best you can to shoot that video. But then also we'll get to some accessories that you can buy. So I am a multimedia journalist for a local news station in town, and sometimes we don't have the time or effort to be able to drag out a whole setup. So what we have to do is we have to bring in a phone and do the best that we can. So let's get to it. So you need to tape that event, but all you have is your phone. So one of the things you should do is get familiar with your phone. Citing from the article by Tillman, Best Practices and Tips for Shooting Smartphone Video that came out this year, is holding it horizontally. Yes, TikTok is getting very popular, and so is Reels, where a lot of it should be vertical, but horizontal video is the way to go. So you should hold it similar to this, because then it also takes in two other things. You get out of the line of sight of your lens, but then also you're not covering up your microphone. And then what you should also keep in mind is look at your viewfinder. Your viewfinder is your screen to see what you're actually recording, because just pointing it doesn't mean you're always getting it in the best way. But if you can control some of the other aspects of your environment, that brings us to point 2, is to control what you can control. So consider appropriate lighting. Get familiar with your phone and not only where some of the stuff is, but then also what it can do. According to the article by Davies, iPhone versus Android, which is better for photography, that came out in 2023, some phones have different device modifications that's built in where it can shoot better quality video depending on what kind of phone you have for nighttime and so on. But you can shoot outside, just make sure you don't shoot into the sun. Make sure whatever you're shooting always has plenty of light if you're able to. Another thing you can ask the environment to, depending on what it is, quiet down. You can quiet down so you can hear the subject of your video, or if obviously it's a sporting event, you wouldn't want to shout, because then you can hear everything around you and it's not just you yelling the entire time. But then another thing to also keep in mind is stability. Hold that thing as stable as possible. With cell phones, a lot of video ends up shaky. One of those best ways is to try to keep it as stable as possible so that it does not have shaky video and your video is clear and you're good to go. That brings us now, if you don't want to buy that expensive DSLR or video camera, you have some other options too. A lot of these accessories I'm about to talk about can range anywhere from $15 to $200. It just depends on what kind of accessory you would like to get. So we'll go to external microphones. External microphones like this one